Hey guys, it's Cindy over at paper.old.new. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I am coming to you in the middle of our ideas. I know last week's idea, of course, was a pocket because we've been doing pockets. This is kind of a different kind of a break into the series kind of an idea. My first little golden book, I did something that I saw some people doing where I'm not necessarily preserving the golden stripe because I like to cover mine with fabric. Okay. But I do want to preserve the length of the pages. I don't want to have to cut my pages, but this is a little weak. It's just 2 pieces of paper that connect this little strip of the spine to the rest of the book. So I wanted to show you something. Some people will cut they'll cut this open. So let's do that because this will require us to do that. My knife. So basically what I do is if you look in there, you can see, hopefully, this is 2 pieces of paper and you can slip your knife down between them. So what I want to do is I want to slip the knife in here and I'm going to cut along, if it's not already all torn open, which I'm hoping it's not, but it looks like it might be. I'm going to cut all along this so that I cut half of it open. Okay. So when I go to pull this back, I want to pull it away from that open spot. So there's actually an open spot that's about 1/8 of an inch wide, maybe, between the 2 little spines. All right. And I want to pull all this paper back. I suppose you could cut it off if you cover your inside page. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I've gotten more to the point where I like covering the inside page. I mean, I'm preserving the story and the little golden book itself. I don't necessarily feel like I need to preserve every little bit of it. I also sometimes when I'm tearing when I'm getting the staples out and I have to tear parts of this strip off, I actually have a bag around here somewhere with bits of those strips so that I can use them in collages and stuff, possibly in little golden book journals. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're peeling this open, and I want it to lay open when I lay this flat. I want it to be as open as possible. Okay, can you see that? It keeps closing on me. Sorry about that. I know this is taking a minute. So just try and get it to open all the way up. This is why I wanted it to not already be torn open, because if I can do it myself, I can usually cut it down one side or the other, and I'm not dealing with half of it being open on one side and half of it being open on the other side. Because then it's little pieces of paper that I'm trying to get to open up. And I'm going to show you in a minute what we're going to do. Now, like I said, some people will take chipboard or old cover or, something, and they will glue. You can glue a piece, like an 1/8 inch wide strip of chipboard down in there. And it will kind of stabilize it for you. I did that. And mine still came loose and wiggled a little bit. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that this idea is going to not come loose. I've only done it to one other piece of a cover, like half a cover. So like the front of a book. I was checking because it's off to the side over here. We're going to do this to the back of that book. But I wanted to show you the process from start to finish. So basically you have this lovely, tedious little process of getting this peeled open. And as you can see, there's a white strip there. That's the paper on this side. So it's this cover paper, and they are just together, and they don't glue them together. That's a hole. You could stick a wire or something down in there. It's open. Now, my thought was, instead of, you might be able to guess, instead of filling this with a piece of chipboard that you have to cut to 1/8 of an inch and then make sure that it fits and all that kind of stuff, I took my hot glue gun and I filled this with hot glue. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You've got the little pieces of paper. You can go along here, and as you go, you can fold these down. That got a little weird and bumpy. What I think I'm going to do this time, because this is only the second one I've done, but I was so excited about this that I wanted to come on here and show you. So we're going to squeeze glue into this trench, and we're going to fill it all the way down. Nice, slow. This is going to use quite a bit of glue. So if it were me, that was putting out air. Not really sure why I got all them air bubbles. If it were me, I would find some like discount cheap glue sticks for this. For example, this little box of glue sticks right here, I got at Ollie's. And it was like, I don't know, $1. And I want to say when it had like 20 glue sticks in it or something, or I don't remember actually. I don't want to tell you wrong. Not that it really matters, but the point is, I'm not necessarily using, ooh, that was a lot. I'm not necessarily using my real good glue sticks for this. I don't know if there are real good glue sticks. I mean, heck, some people, I suppose, just go out and get whatever glue sticks are handy. Okay, now, like I said, you can go back and take this and go, it would probably work better if it was whole. Oh no, that's already started to dry. I am going to kind of try and flatten it out, because it fills up and there's a little bit of a hump there. I mean, whether or not you care about that. Now, you can go back and try and close these down before this glue dries, you know, or whatever. But this fills this in, okay? And once you've filled it in and let it dry, it stabilizes this piece. It basically glues this whole part together. And it gives you a nice firm ridge in there. Now, like I said, depending on how full you fill your trench, like I probably overfilled this trench. It's bumped up right there. But when I go to cover this, that'll probably all be insignificant and not matter, because I'll be putting signatures in here and I'll be putting fabric over it and dressing it up, and nobody's going to know the difference. You know what I mean? So, that's already started dry, and see, you can't wiggle it anymore. So you go from this to this, okay? And your spine is stabilized. Now I can cover this with paper, and you can even, I mean, to some extent, hot glue, you can cut it. So like if you've got some spots that are really high, like I messed with this spot, so it's got like a peak. You can cut it. I mean, you can cut pieces off of it and make it flatter or whatever. This is a good reason not to mess with it. But like I said, this is only my second one, so I haven't gotten where I know exactly how much to put in the hole. It probably doesn't need to be full. I mean, it's hot glue, so by the nature of hot glue, it'll kind of spread out and fill up the space, and it probably does not need to be full all the way to the brim of the little trench. So far, I will say this, messing with the chipboard and everything, the chipboard actually came loose. So the fact that this glues to this side and to that side and to the bottom, it's all glue. It's almost like putting a strip of mortar or grout, like tile grout in there, and it just seals that. And then you can, you know, like I said, futz with it in the decorating. So let's do this one. Actually, you know what? I have the one for the back of the one I experimented on was the popcorn book. So that is stuck. And you can see, I don't know if you can tell, see the ridge? You can see it there, but like I said, I'm going to put fabric on here because I always reinforce my spine with fabric. That's going to get covered up. But that's the inside of the popcorn book. And I have a nice stable spine, and I don't have to cut my pages other than just when you stuff them together, having to even them up. I don't have to trim them because I've lost this space. Okay, so this is the other half of the popcorn book. We're going to try putting less. I don't want to go too much less, but less so it's not quite so high. And if you can get less in there and it works, it's also going to make this a faster process. See, done. Now this one I was able to cut the paper on one side. So see, I can stick it down to the top of the glue. This glue actually doesn't come to the top of the trench. So we'll have to let that dry and see if it was enough to stabilize this spine. Because that's nice and flat. So if that dries and that's enough to stabilize it, you don't have to fill the trench the way I did with this one. See, it's a learning curve. I had just done this one a couple days ago and I said I got to share. So I wanted to put this out there and show you what I've done. Let's go with, yeah, that worked. Okay, so it's stable and I didn't have to put as much glue in. I mean, it wiggles a little bit more, but not much. And like I said, with the reinforcement of fabric and everything else that you're going to put on here, that's good. Okay, this one's a little bulky. Let's see if we can improve on this one. And then, oops, this is the front. So we'll stick this here. This is all my little, I keep putting my glue gun up against things. Can I show you guys? I have, see this little divot? It didn't go all the way through the bottle, and that plastic seems to have hardened back up again. The bottle has not started leaking, but that's because I set my glue gun down right next to my glue bottle and they were touching. Because I'm so smart. Okay, this one is not torn yet, so we're going to try. Just fold it down and kind of well, it's going to make a liar out of me. I swear I did this. You fold it down and you just kind of go along the one edge. If you do it really light, you don't go through both pieces miraculously enough. Okay, so you pull this back. If it tears, it's okay. Like if it tears this way, I just don't want it to be, I'd rather it be one whole flap rather than split down the middle and I have some peeling this way and some peeling that way, because then what I'm working with is really small. 1/16 of an inch or less in some cases, depending on how it tears. Okay, so we got that. I am going to need another glue stick at some point, so we'll get that ready. Might not be for this since we're doing less. Okay. I got some on the end of my gun here. Basically, I think as long as you can get it to cover the entire white paper under the bottom, you've got enough in there. As long as it's wide enough to cover all the way from side to side, I think that gives you enough. I'm going to use this just in case, because I feel like some of the spots, there's a lot. Okay. And there you have it. A stabilized spine. well, when it cools, a stabilized spine, and you get the whole book. I hope you guys like this little idea for maintaining. See, this is what I'm talking about. The pages in a little golden book go from end to end on the I'm over here to the side. Like I don't know where my camera is. They go from end to end. So if you lose this piece of spine, you have to cut this off. And when we're talking about cutting that off, you're talking about cutting off in the middle of the, you're talking about losing picture. It's not just this white space. I suppose you could try just cutting off that white space and seeing if it worked, but in some cases it's picture. So not always. Sometimes I feel like you can afford to cut it and it would be fine. This also gives me more space to put a fabric cover on here and not cover up the title. Because I don't like it when I cover up, like if I cover up BI and it says G Bird's Red Book. That's just me, personal preference and all that sort of thing, but I don't like that. So if I can avoid it, I'm gonna avoid it. Okay, yeah, this worked good. So what we're gonna do is, while I've got you, this will be a half, this is an idea and a pick a project and I don't know what I'm gonna call this video. And I'm dripping hot glue all over my mat. Okay, so basically all I did, you can probably guess, this isn't rocket science. I stuck it down on here. The really nice thing about this, though, something I found out totally by accident. I just tried it and it worked. If you cover the back of your little golden book, or the front, or whatever, and you stick it on a piece of paper that's too big, you don't have to cut it off with scissors. Maybe some of you already know this. I was, getting ready to use my scissors and I said, you know what? That's a nice, high, hard, firm edge. I'm going to treat it like a ruler. And use my cutting knife. Okay, get that on there really good. And then we're just going to, and I'm going to put this on here straight as possible because I want my paper to be straight. Okay. Now we'll turn it over. I feel like I've already gotten enough glue on my glue mat. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to do this. And then we're going to smoosh it. Okay. This just might end up being a random tips video. So I took this and I pushed up against the side and I pulled down along there. Okay. And it cuts it away. Now that's probably not, oh my gosh, amazing to anybody. Heck, half of you probably already do this, but it cuts it away and I don't have to worry about, see, because my problem is whenever I'm cutting stuff like this and I'm trying to go against that edge, my scissors sometimes will catch up on top of the cardboard and put little nicks in my paper. What I like about being able to do this is I get a nice clean cut edge on the top of my journal. See, unless I do that, and then I don't get a nice clean cut edge. So push up against the journal and pull this way. Okay, that has to do with the fact that I'm right-handed and I was trying to cut on the left side. Anyway, that'll get covered up with whatever I covered with. See, and my cut edge is nice and clean. No nicks or scrapes from the scissors missing, because that's what I do all the time. my scissors miss and I end up with little nicks in the edges of my paper. So this is the popcorn book I've been working on. This is the cover. I've started working on the cover. I don't have all the ephemera done for the pockets, but I have started working on the cover. So there we have it, guys. So I hope you liked this little it was kind of a tips video. A couple things that I sort of discovered while I was working on this project, actually the popcorn book project. So yeah, so I just wanted to share and hope that if there's anybody out there who hasn't experienced either of those things, maybe this will give you an idea, or maybe you'll try this. Or if you're trying to break down little golden books and you don't want to cut your pages because you happen to have one of those ones where the picture extends into the spine, give the hot glue thing a try. It'll stabilize your spine and you can keep the whole thing. I hope that helps, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.